Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your message from Spirit reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you are interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again, a message not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. That person is not me. That person is a scammer. I will not be soliciting you for anything. With that said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself become calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aries. The Spirit wants you to know, Aries. Aries. The Spirit wants you to know, Aries. Aries. What the Spirit wants you to know, Aries. Aries. What does Spirit want you to know? Angels and Spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and Spirit guides. Angels and Spirit guides. Fantastic. Angels and Spirit guides. Angels and Spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Oh, fantastic. And let's see your chakra energy for this time. Aries, what does Spirit want you to know, Aries? What does Spirit want you to know, Aries? What does Spirit want you to know, Aries? Angels and Spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. So we have here, we start off with the solar plexus chakra, and this is self-mastery. Spirit is saying at this moment, one of the things to focus on will be the gut reaction to things, your gut instincts. But also, there is a sense here of falling into alignment with yourself, embracing your truth, letting yourself walk forward in what is right for you, what you believe, what you desire, how you want it to be. Not a selfish kind of me thing, but this very beautiful and very powerful awareness of being that radiates. It just radiates outward. It's like, this is who I get to be, and this is how I get to walk forward in the power that is me. And it brings us then to creativity, which is the sacral chakra. Now, this is where a lot of negative energy is held from this life, from past lives. So when we have the sacral chakra come forward, that is really quite powerful. I'm getting into these too quickly, so let me let me turn over the cards. All right, you have the star, which is Aquarius energy, time frame January 20th to February 18th. We then have the Four of Wands. We have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy, time frame August 23rd to September 22nd. And then we have the Sun of Wands, which is fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So this is you, of course, coming through as the Sun, as the Knight in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Then we have the Son of Pentacles, which is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Very strong here as a defender, as a learner, as a grower during this time within the sacred masculine energy. But also if you are born on the cusp between, of course, Aries and Taurus. And then we have the Father of Swords, which is of course, a more mature energy coming forward. This is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have the Mother of Swords. I love this. There is strong and profound intellect here coming forward. There's a sense of knowing, which we could see with the solar plexus chakra, and that's why Spirit had me talk about it before we turned over the cards and see how everything correlated. And then we have Judgment. We have this rising up out of darkness, out of doubt, out of despair into truth. And so during this time, again, it really is, there's something beautiful here. So when we have the King and the Queen, here it is the Mother and the Father of a certain sign, of air sign energy, right? From the same deck. This is a soulmate connection. This is a true love connection. This is an empowerment. And so here, it doesn't mean that you have to run out and meet somebody. If that's not what's happening, that's totally cool. But what you're going to see here is that there is a sense of an empowerment of ideas, a sense of stepping into ourself, saying, this is who I am, this is what I desire, the self-mastery, the sense of there is more power here than what I had realized. There is more truth here than what I had known. And this shines more brightly than you realize, okay? So you're going to be led in a very certain direction. And you might be sitting there like in yourself meditatively, or just, being conscious of being within your body and thinking, well, this is an odd path for me to take. This is an odd thought for me to have. This is an odd way forward. Spirit's saying, keep on following it. As long as it comes from a place of love and light and compassion, keep on following it forward. And then we have creativity. The creativity is the sacral chakra. Again, it is where a lot of negative energy from this life and past lives are held. So what's powerful about that is that this is also where our creative and our sexual energy is held. So when it's compounded with hurts and pains and disappointments, not only from this life, but from past lives, it can make it very hard for us to embrace our creativity, for us to move forward in our truth, for us to, feel sensually and sexually the way that we want to. And so here there is a sense of needing to focus on the sacral chakra, but needing to focus on the creative voice and letting ourselves, just for a little bit each day, embrace something creative, embrace something, something joyous that helps us move forward into ourselves. Because what is coming here, it's a breaking away of pain. It's looking at the DNA curse, right? So the trauma and the drama. In the Bible, they say, the sins of the father passed on to the son. It's not that you inherit those exact sins, though some can interpret it that way. It is also the fact that you were raised as your caregivers were raised. You were raised with their hurts, their pains, their disappointments, in life, compounded with your own hurts and pains and disappointments that you will accrue over life. So there's a lot that comes at us. And here, with the creativity, it's like, it's breaking those cycles. It's breaking those chains. And it's becoming more and more aware of them and saying, but there is power in my existence. It's not saying I'm a victim and I can never achieve, I can never fly, because you have this beautiful ending. Like, you start with the stars, like you start with the heavens opening, and you end with the ability for flight. And that is astoundingly freeing. So we start here with the star. The star is the highest form of man's perfection. It's what we look at, it's what we desire, it's what we strive for. In ancient times, and even now, if you don't have a map and you know how to read the stars, you can figure things out. Well, in ancient times, people lived by the stars. They did. They came up with complex stories of the stars. They were gods. They were watchers. They were everything. They walked by the stars. They sailed by the stars. So here, there is a sense of getting back. It's kind of getting back to what basically guides us. It's not saying, oh, I'm getting back to basics and, kind of running away into the woods, unless, that's what you want to do. And then, you do you, right? But there's a sense here of saying, I need to look at what is instinctually guiding me forward. And that's a huge part of what Spirit is saying here. I need to look at what's instinctually guiding me forward. I need to look at my dreams, my hopes, and my desires, because there is a wisp. There is a wish that Spirit is whispering to you, that Spirit sees within your heart, within your soul, within yourself, within the very essence of being. And is saying, don't close your heart to it. Don't close your mind to it. Something greater is coming. Something more is opening. And usually, from my personal experience, from what I've seen within the world, usually when this opens, we think, oh my gosh, it hasn't opened at all. I've just had the door slammed in my face. I thought I was supposed to move forward this way, and now my life is topsy-turvy. What is going on here? And we can be feeling this way during this time, but we have the Four of Wands. And I love this interconnectedness of the wands over the all-seeing eye. And that can be, kind of the evil eye, protection, understanding, knowledge, and truth. So what we're looking at here is a celebration, is happiness, is love, is connection, is a sense of joy. Can I open up this door? Can I move forward this way? Can I have the life that I want? Can I have the career that I want? Can I have the dreams that I want? Do I know how they're going to come forward? And here's the thing. If we spend our whole lives planning and not creating, there's going to be a disservice. As a fire sign energy, to embrace passion, to embrace, that feels like a right idea. Like I have to, at the very end, trust my gut, can be a very natural thing, but it can also be a very scary thing. That's why the more advanced you are as an Aries, the more naturally it comes. Now, it's not saying to be like an impetuous teenager. What Spirit is saying is that there comes a time, I just keep on seeing the great general, right? So with the Aries energy, Aries is the god of war in Greek mythology. And so with that Aries energy, we have this sense of power and of truth and of lining things up, because battle was such an important part of the ancient world. And, you don't want to get into battles now without having a plan. Doing things, just running in blind is bad. So here, there is a sense of looking at the prosperity that we need within our lives, looking at what makes us think of a happily ever after, what makes us think of joy and success and stability and security and abundance and opening up the doors. And it brings us to this place of being able to dance, being able to live, being able to love, being able to laugh in a way that we weren't able to before. Because there is a reprioritizing going on. It can be as simple as that. But there is a sense here of saying, if I do not get to shine, if I do not get to embrace my soul and myself now, or plan for it now, when do I get to? Will it always be someday and someday and someday? Because the Hermit here is saying slow and steady. Slow and steady. Let divinity guide things. Spirit is saying, let me guide things. Because we always want things in our time, in human time, and that's great. But it doesn't always work out the way that we'd like it to if we rush it. If we say, this is the way I'm seeing it, this is the way I want it, no changes, no changes whatsoever. The Hermit is saying, turn inward, turn inward and quiet the world. See what it is that you want from life. See what it is that you're moving towards. And when we do this, when we turn inward and we let that light guide us and we say, what is important to me? What is it that I desire? What is it that I want? What is it that I'm looking for? How is it that I'm moving forward? We start to see new answers coming. And we also start to see us connecting with ourselves in a way that we might have thought was wrong, that we might have thought wasn't going to get us anywhere. It's going to get us everywhere. This is a sense of quieting the world and saying, it's time for me to focus on me. And it brings us to the Son of Wands. It brings us to studying. So when I see the sun, I'm just seeing this boy looking and kind of looking towards people that he admires and being guided. And so here with the Son of Wands, it's not only you looking towards people that you admire to kind of make sure that you're doing it the right way, right? But it's also looking towards the knowledge that you admire within this world, the people within this world that we admire, that we connect with, that we feel have a very similar voice to ourselves. There is a sense here of looking at the power forward, looking at things and saying, I am going to be defending my world one day, and I want to do it well. I'm going to be building this, and I have to understand how. And there is a sense of a need to prove the independence in the individual within the Son of Wands. And also within the sun in general. When you get to that point in adolescence, of course, I grew up with all brothers, guys become a little bit more aggressive. They're they're asserting themselves, they're figuring things out. Girls do it a bit differently, at least that's how I observed it. And here there is a sense of where do I stand and how do I carve this out and what is it that I truly want? And that's a huge part that's crowning us during this time, Aries. It's what is it that I truly want? How is it that I need to move forward? And there's a flexibility. We can say, have phobias about snakes or whatever, but the snake has a flexibility of being and was a being that all humans had to watch out for, okay? Because the snake in the grass was the predator that was the danger that you couldn't be aware of, you didn't know. And so there's something here where as you're building your knowledge, as you're embracing your understanding, there's a part of you that's going to be the underestimated one, the one that they're not looking at, everybody else is looking over here, and you're putting in the time and the effort. And when you strike, when you go after what it is that you want, you hit much more firmly, okay? Because everybody else is too busy not seeing. And as you embrace what it is that you desire and how it is that you're moving forward, there comes a time where there's a sense of stubbornness, and there's a sense of play to the stubbornness. You're going to see this as a challenge. The Son of Pentacles, I'm just seeing two bucks kind of ramming their horns, but it's not over, mating or territory or anything like that. It's over play. It's they're playing to learn and to mimic the skills that they would need when they are out on their own. And there's something here to that. It's there's something here that's leading you up to saying, yeah, I can go that way. Yeah, I've practiced that. It's not kind of, trying to run before you can walk. There is a sense of building things, building a greater understanding, building a greater truth, putting the pieces together, but also seeing how your mind works. So everybody is different. Now, the way I do things is not going to be the way that you do things. And there's, differences because of who we are as individuals. But there are also other differences that you couldn't change even if you wanted to. I'm severely dyslexic and ADHD. So, the way I would do things is going to be different than the way other people would do things. And there comes a point where we have to accept that, right? We have to sit there and say, okay, well, this is me. And there is a point here where something starts to click and you're like, oh, but this is me. And you might need to label it. You might need to say, okay, why is this me? But there is a power in knowing this is me. And that starts to move us forward. And it starts to move us to a place of the warrior king and queen coming out, because the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, they are warriors. We look at the sword and it's a knowledge. And gosh, I was just reading about the sword of Moses, right? So the angels come down and give the sword this knowledge, and it's an esoteric text. And there's this sense here of this knowledge coming down and being given. But because it is a sword, and it being named a sword is important, the names of things are important. Confucius said, name things simply and name it directly so that people know. The Father of Swords is having this knowledge come. is having this understanding come. And a sword is not a frivolous item. We see it mostly now for decoration. But back in medieval times and before, the world was forged by swords. Your life was changed by a sword. You could be given wealth and prestige and power through a sword, or it could be ended. There was a fierceness to it, and there still is a fierceness to it. There's a forging to it, which I think very much symbolizes the way that we live our lives, the forging that we go through in our lives. We cut through the doubts and the fears and the negativity and the angers and the upsets. We see what puts us in the hot fire, what tries to break us and what tries to overwhelm us, and how we react, and if we break, and if we don't break, and how we mend, and how we, keep on embracing the power and the might and the mind of the self. And there is a sense here of doing so with such courage. But it's also being like the archetype of the father, the person who is wise, who is stepping into their power, who owns their power, owns their presence, owns their voice. And that's going to be very important, because even if other people don't know it, that's what you're doing inside Aries. That's where we're going to see things starting to become more clear. And we're learning how to wield the sword, how to wield the weapon, and to do it well. Swords take time and effort and practice. This isn't about learning, this is about embracing what you have already mastered. There is always a sense of learning in there. Spirit is saying, don't learn, because Spirit always wants us to be learning and growing and exploring and expanding. And it leads us then to the Mother of Swords. The Mother of Swords is, again, the warrior queen, is the person who fiercely protects what needs to be protected, fiercely embraces a knowledge that gets to move in her truth, gets to build her forward in a way. I see the Father of Swords being more of the external, more of what the world sees. Excuse me. The Mother of Swords is more of the internal. It's more of how we nurture what is important to us, but also how we let ourselves be challenged, how we kind of push ourselves forward in a sense, because you don't want the overbearing mother, right? The archetype of the mother to be the overbearing one is not a good one. Just like the archetype of the father being the tyrant, that isn't good. So here, what we're looking at is it's not the negative, but the positive. And it can say, okay, be mindful that you can be overbearing at times. Be mindful that you could be cruel at times, as all human beings can. But there is a sense here of gaining an understanding that says the truth matters, the power matters, the way I open up my wings and fly forward, it matters. And it matters more than people realize, or than people want to admit. And it brings us to a judgment. And this has to do with wings, with words, with air, with the feeling of the breath, with the embracing of the self. I mean, there can be breath work done here, and I have that linked in the description box below with Wim Hof and breathing, and I do that before readings. But there's also a sense of like, this is my truth, and this is my power. And this is what's going to be, it's like Spirit is saying quite literally, calling the wind beneath your wings, which of course is a song, but you're finding the way that the currents guide you forward. And you're finding the right currents for you. And it brings you to judgment. It brings you to a rising. Judgment is the resurrection. It's seeing who we once were and saying, okay, I get it. And I have risen. And that's hard. Because when we have changed, when we rise, things become different. The rules don't always seem the same. And it can also be that we mourn, and we have to let ourselves mourn. When we rise, when we're resurrected in soul and in self, there is a sense of, I left the old person behind. But now I get to embrace the power and the brilliance and the beauty that is me. And I get to know who the me is and where I stand right now. And with this judgment, with this sense of I get to rise into my power, I get to embrace my truth, things become more than you realized. And there is a sense of stepping out of what has held you back, stepping out of darkness and despair, and stepping out of the box and saying, this is me, and this is where I need to be. It brings us to our subconscious messages. The subconscious chakra message is dreams, which is the third eye chakra. Embrace your dreams, because you will be getting messages from them. Embrace your mind and your understanding, because even your daydreams are going to be connecting you with spirit. The third eye is opening. And it can be overwhelming. It leads us then to the subconscious tarot message, which is the Sun of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. There is something here, and it's very important, because now you have 3 knights, 3 suns. And the Sun of Cups, with 3 suns, with 3 knights, there's a protective energy, but there's also a learning energy. There's a sense of somebody will always have more knowledge, more wisdom, okay? More knowledge and more wisdom, whether you want it or not, whether you think the person is right or not, that does not matter. But they have more years behind them. And so with the Sun of Cups, there is a sense here of looking at what you love and finding out how what you love gets to be a part of how you live and of what you live for. There's an opening of the heart, and there's an embrace of emotional truth that is heavy. It can be astoundingly intense, but it is beautifully real. All right, Aries, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy, as we are guided to something greater than we know, and as a wish is granted. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries.